Hi, I'm E.D. Lewis and welcome back to my channel, E.D. Lewis Reviews. And if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. And we're going to go right into it. I'm doing a book haul. This is a holiday season book haul. These are books that I got as gifts. Some of them came from me, so they were Yuletide gifts. And there are a few, though, that actually I got right like a week before the holidays actually, commenced. And it was at a library book sale, the everyday one. So I'll get to those probably last. So, yeah. So the day that I'm recording this is actually December 31. So it's the 11th day of Yule. There's one more day of Yule. There are 12 days of that celebrate Yule. And, yeah, so, Happy New Year's to those who celebrate New Year's on the 31st and the 1st of January. And let's get started. So, first off, so I got this one as a gift to myself, and it's not the first one actually of this kind. It is the Nutcracker, a young reader's edition of the holiday classic, illustrated by Don Daly, from the story by E.T.A. Hoffman. And it was adapted by, I didn't see it, Daniel Walden. Now, I have shown this book before. I showed it on my, my reading wrap-up video that I've already filmed. I just filmed it, basically. So, yeah. So, this is that book, and I'll show you another illustration. So, basically, it's an adaptation of E.T.A. Hoffman's story, The Nutcracker. It's based more off of the ballet, though, and less off of the book. And more or less, I think, like the Americanized ballet. Oh, here's one, so I'll show this, and we'll move on. So, it has gorgeous illustrations like these. It's just awesome. So, I saw that actually, I think it was last year. I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. I love this edition. Didn't get it. I said I'd pick it up. And it was relatively inexpensive, so. Pretty much all the books that I got from you were really inexpensive. Next up, so it's another Nutcracker book. And actually, let's not do this one yet. So the next one is another Nutcracker book. And it is the original E.T.A. Hoffman book. Which was originally written in German, so this is not the German edition. This is the one of the English editions, and I think there's multiple translations. So this one I got, it was really inexpensive, and I was like, I finally got an edition of the Nutcracker. I may read it for, Christmas in July, or I might read it next holiday season, I'm not sure. But I have to say, this cover in particular I was drawn to because it kind of lends itself to the darker side of the story, because the story of the Nutcracker does have a lot of darkness to it. It's considered to be a dark fairy tale, and by some even it's considered to be a dark gothic fairy tale. And also the author E.T.A. Hoffman is also famous not only for writing the Nutcracker, but also for writing a lot of gothic horror stories as well. So I was really drawn to that cover. Then, then I picked this up. Now I had checked it out from the library because I love the illustrations of it. This is another translation of E.T.A. Hoffman's book. It is an illustrated edition. I think there's at least anyway 3 different translations I've seen, and this is a different one than the one I just showed you. And I think the translation is not only the illustrations, but the translation's also by Maurice Sendak, who was also the writer and illustrator of Where the Wild Things Are. So I've always been kind of in love with this ever since I had seen it at the library years ago. Didn't know if they still had it. They did, clearly. And then I ended up finding this one online actually on the 25th. I ordered it. It was really cheap. And it said it was in good condition. This is excellent condition, but here's some of the illustrations. I love the illustrations. And prior to doing this edition, he had done costumes and sets for, I think it was the 1985, 1986 Well, sorry, going back even further, the 1982 stage production of the ballet done by Pacific Northwest Ballet. Well, that version got turned to a movie in like 85, 86, and they used the costumes and set designs that he came up with, and yeah, so I mean, it's one of my favorite versions of the Nutcracker, and of course you know obviously why, because I love the illustrations, and this fits it very well. And a lot of times the cover of the film uses this same picture, so yeah, so I'll be reading that. So next up, I think the only other one I got myself was, yes, The Hay Bale by Priscilla Bettis. And everybody here on BookTube should know who Priscilla is. She you know, supports so many channels on here, and she is just a gem. I mean, truly. I haven't read any of her stories yet, and I've heard great things about The Hay Bale, so I was like, I'm starting with The Hay Bale. So I got myself The Hay Bale on Kindle. It's kind of a Southern Gothic horror story, and I've heard really good things about it. So I'm definitely gonna be reading that at some point during the new year. All right. Next up, I've already shared this on my last Dracula review video that I did. Some of us on BookTube, we took part in Secret Santa, and I received Clown in a Cornfield as the gift. And I haven't read this yet. I've heard a lot of great things about it. I know it's been all over like Bookstagram, BookTube, all kinds of book communities, and the sequel too. So I mean, it sounds really awesome, and it's about the younger generation kind of battling it out against the older generation, and then a clown like starts a massacre at this, I think it's a party that's being held at a cornfield. So yeah, it sounds really creepy, and this is another one I'm planning on getting to at some point during 2023. Not sure when. We'll see how things work out. That's the bad thing about being a mood reader. You never know what you're going to get to and when. So, but this is definitely on my list of get-tos. I got this. This actually came from my partner, and it's Virgo, because I'm a Virgo. Let your sun sign show you the way to a happy and fulfilling life, by Marianne Williamson and Pam Carruthers. Or Carruthers, sorry. So, I mean, it's a book all about, about my, my astrological sign, and so it sounded interesting and stuff, so, yeah. Definitely I'll check that out at some point. It may be one of those that I read throughout the year, just little by little, because I did that with a few nonfiction spiritual books this past year as well, so. Alright, next up, and I've actually already started reading this as of yesterday. This is a 2-book one, actually, but I started reading the first one in it for Halloween, by the way, so a little preview. This is Fear Street Super Thriller Nightmares, The Dead Boyfriend, and Give Me a K-I-L-L. 2 books in one by R.L. Stine. So it's the combining of 2 books from his, I think it's called I've heard it called a Fear Street novel series, but I also heard of it called Fear Street Relaunch. So I don't know which it's called, but I have started reading The Dead Boyfriend, and it's kind of bizarre. It's definitely over the top, but I'll talk more about it when I get to my review on that. So, and the Give Me a K-I-L-L, I think it's a cheerleader story. So I've read one of the Fear Street Cheerleaders books, so I wonder if it has any slight connection. I mean, it's not part of the series, but I wonder if it has even a mild connection to those. But we'll see. Another one from my partner is this one, and this I've been wanting for quite a long time. It's called The Midwinter Witch. It's by Molly Knox Ostertag, and it's the 3rd and final one in the Witch Boy trilogy. So I'm looking forward to reading that. I'll definitely probably get that read in a day, probably an hour or so. I would like to sit down and read all 3 in a row and just read the whole trilogy, but we'll see about that. So anyway, yeah, I'm very excited to see how the story ends up, and I don't even want to read the back. I did see where it says magic has a dark side. So, I mean, yeah. But I don't want to know what the plot is about. I want it to just unfold for me, so. Next up is not a book, but it is something you read. So I received this as a gift, and it's A Year of Ghosts, Tales of Haunted Houses, Paranormal Investigators, and The Restless Dead. It's a page-a-day calendar for 2023. And I have opened it up and looked through it. I haven't read any of the things, though. And so it's got quotes, it's got little stories, all kinds of stuff, and it's, like it says, it's a page-a-day calendar. I think there's a few days that are combined. Like, I think today's is on there, and tomorrow's is one page. So I'll have to set this up right on my desk or something. Oh yeah, the first day is, yeah, it's today and tomorrow, so... Yeah, it has a little story. I'm not gonna sit here and read it. We don't have time for that. But it has a little story to read. But yeah, it's even. I think there was even quizzes in here, and I think there was even a spooky joke that I saw while flipping through. I didn't read any of them though, because I want to be surprised. So, but that was a really cool gift and something a little different. I've never had one of these calendars before. That you flip through. Okay, now we've gotten to the last bit. These are the books I got at the library book sale. And they were all 50 cents a piece. They are library discards. I don't know what they're about. Probably not going to read what they're about, though. They are the second... I guess you'd say it's a sequel trilogy to a previous series. And I haven't read the series. And that is The Vampire Diaries by L.J. Smith. I have all 4 of the original Vampire Diaries books on my Kindle. Unfortunately, they have the TV show tie-in covers, but I did see these. And they had the series that follows, but I didn't want to get those because, from what I understand, those are not by L.J. Smith. They have her name, but they are ghostwritten because the company, I guess there was a falling out between her and the company, and they kind of took it away from her and decided to just run with the Vampire Diaries in their own direction using her name. So I don't know the full details about it, but that sounds really unfortunate. But this is The Vampire Diaries, The Return, Nightfall. Hopefully I don't get too much glare. They are library discards after all. These are thick books. Yeah, look at that. I think around 500 pages. Yeah, the last page is 586 pages, page 586, sorry. So yeah. The Vampire Diaries, The Return, Volume 2, Shadow Souls. Another really thick one. And lastly, The Vampire Diaries, The Return, Volume 3, Midnight. So, yeah. And like I said, another thick one. So these are like tomes, pretty much. Pretty sure they're also 500 pages. Well, over 500 pages. 567, so yeah. But they did have the Hunters series. I did not pick those up because I didn't want to get those because I guess they're not L.J. Smith, so they're not the original author. Kind of like I have the Secret Circle books. Haven't read them yet either. I got them at a library book sale at the big sale, and I did. They had a couple of the other ones to follow. I did not pick them up because also they are not written by L.J. Smith. I guess they are ghostwritten, so I wasn't really interested in that. But that is the book haul that I have. It's not as big as my last one, of course, thankfully, but quite a few. So those are the books that I have, and I hope you all had a great holiday season. I hope you're enjoying 2023 so far, and I hope it's a good one. So anyway, I'll see you all soon with some new videos coming up, and oh yeah, by the way, I'll have an original tag, and I haven't done one of those for a couple of years now, so do my second original tag. But until next time, stay safe and stay spooky, and Happy New Year.